So my teaching philosophy has changed a lot since being a student teacher. The biggest thing that I have grown and changed is how you need to be flexible and how you need to change your instruction, your differentiation, your procedures, routines, everything based on your class and your individual students, and not based on a set standard that someone else gave you. I think I learned a lot of amazing things as a student in the COE, but I think I've learned way more as a student teacher. And I think it's really important to be flexible and to not get stuck in the mindset of, well, my professor told me to do this, but you know that something else works way better with your students. Also, a big thing I've learned is how to challenge your students to do better instead of taking things away when things don't go as planned. I think that's something I always kind of wanted to do as a teacher, but being a student teacher has made that stronger in my philosophy of giving your students an opportunity to show you that they can do better instead of just ultimately just taking things away. Like I had a time where my students were just not listening to me. They were not following directions. So I brought them back to the carpet and I gave them another chance. I said, okay, this is your time to prove to me that you can work. They were working with their own partners. So to work with partners that you picked, and I gave them another chance and they did perfect. Instead of just being like, you didn't do good, you don't get partners. So giving your students an opportunity to show you that they know how to follow directions. With technology, I think the biggest thing that I've learned how to get kids excited about using technology, there's so many apps, and most schools do have iPads now. There's so many apps that kids really, really get excited about. We use this app in my class called Sock Puppets, where they learn about elements of a story, so characters, setting, plot, and then they get to record their own story, and it's all sock puppets. They absolutely love it. So there are so many apps out there that you can use that get kids really excited about learning. And then just kind of the Christian worldview. I think that being a teacher is definitely one of the easiest ways to spread the love of Jesus. First and foremost, because Jesus himself was a teacher, and I think that it's a very easy place to model the love of Christ, even though you can't necessarily say it and that it's Jesus or that because you love him, but you can show it in more ways than most professions can. And that's just by caring about your students, building a relationship with your students, loving on them regardless of how naughty they are, regardless of how low they are, regardless of if they're sped or whatever the case is, but just loving them regardless and making sure they know that and getting to know them as a person and not just as a student. I think kids really need to be shown that they are cared for and that us teachers are not just looking at them for grades, but we're looking at them to see how we can better take care of them and better love on them. And I think that in itself is what Jesus does and what he embodies. So as a teacher, we get a really cool opportunity to do that.